Hi guys, this is Dusty again, and another one of my weekly videos. And if you just watched the one on No Time to Bleed, not sure how long I will delay until putting this one out, but I'm recording it directly afterward. So you wouldn't, if you did watch the other video, you will not be surprised to see that today's beer is Firestone Walker 15th Anniversary Ale, which I cracked open on the other video. And I did find out it's 12.5%, so I guess 13, not a bad guess. So it is a blend of barrel-aged beers, that's what it says. My guess is there's a blend of Firestone's different barrel-aged stouts and barley wines. There's probably some Sacaba in there, Parabola, a few other things. It's a beautiful beer. Very smooth. You would think 12.5% might be a little hot on the palate, alcohol-wise, but no, it's very smooth. Dark fruits, not a lot of chocolate, but dark fruits and very, kind of very silky on the palate. So, not to get too into that for you guys that don't give a shit about beer, but I'll make connoisseurs out of you yet. So, anyways, what are we doing today? Last time we talked about No Time to Bleed. This time we are going to talk about Blood Brothers. And this book, as you'll recall last when I talked about No Time to Bleed, I said that it was kind of a series of accidents that resulted in that book. I had started writing just a short character study that was going to be for my own notes, and it turned into a book, even though it's kind of a short one. I thought it was worthy of publishing, and thankfully you guys have agreed because it's gotten some great reviews. So where did Blood Brothers come from? So this is, like I said when I talked about No Time to Bleed, the whole history and lore behind Austin Conrad, my main character, and his motorcycle club that he belongs to, the Rattlers. That all sort of came out of nowhere while I was writing that. And then, I had to flesh it out, right, for the next book. And, the next book is, it's called Blood Out. You should know that already if you've watched my other videos. And that I'm writing now. It's not done yet. But, so I'm writing Blood Out. And I didn't intend to write Blood Brothers, which ended up being a prequel to No Time to Bleed. So I'm writing Blood Out, and I'm not going to give up I'm not going to spoil it for those of you that haven't read it yet, what it is that pisses Austin off, that he, why is he out on the open road, and why do these thugs come and fuck with him the way they did? But, you're kind of left wondering what caused all that. And so, I needed to deal with that, obviously, in Blood Out. So I start writing Blood Out, right, which picks up directly after the events of No Time to Bleed. In fact, on my website, you can read an excerpt of it that's actually been up there for almost a half a year now. The prologue for it, the prologue in Blood Out, which you can read now, even though the book's not done. It takes place in the Rattlers clubhouse from the point of view of Tillman, who is, he's the bad guy, right? He's the president of the Rattlers, and his right-hand man, a guy by the name of Sonny. And it happens directly after when Austin talks to Tillman on the phone out in Amboy during the events in No Time to Bleed. He fights all these guys, and he finally wins, and he gets the phone for one of them. He calls Tillman on and tells him, "Hey, what the fuck's going on?" Right? So they have words and everything. So this prologue for Blood Out starts right after he hangs up the phone. It starts off with Tillman throwing the phone across the room, and cursing at Austin. But anyways, if you want to read that passage, it's on my website already. And I've done a few tweaks to it since then. It won't be exactly what you read when the book comes out, and it'll be expanded a little bit too. There's a little bit more to it than what you can read. But anyways, if you're curious, you can go check that out. So anyways, I'm writing Blood Out, and if you read No Time to Bleed, you know that that Austin's on his way to Vegas, and he's got some nebulous issue he's got to take care of up there. That was sort of, again, if you watched my last video, you knew that I was just seating my pants. I didn't know what the hell he was going up there for. I had to make something up, right? So in Blood Out, it kind of fleshes out the story of why is he going up there? He does, turns out he owns he's part owner of the business up there, and there's problems he has to deal with. That he needs to take care of before he comes back down and finishes his program, what's going on with the Rattlers. So he gets to Vegas, and him and Jean, right? So Jean's with him, and he's got a business partner up there. She's named Frankie. I won't go into her too much about details about her, but Austin is explaining to her what the hell happened. Why are these guys after you, and why are you so beat up? Because of course he shows up and he's just beat to hell, right? So so he's telling her the story, and as I'm writing him telling her the story, what's going on, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So eventually I think, shit, man, I can't do this in just a couple of paragraphs. So I thought, well, I'll break it out into a flashback, or and then it was bigger than a chapter. And I thought, well, maybe I'll make it like a prologue or something, and it just didn't fit. And eventually I just said, you know what, fuck it. It's going to be its own book. It's going to be it's going to basically start the narrative where it should have started before No Time to Bleed. And so that's what Blood Brothers does. It starts, I guess, and I'm sorry if you feel cheated because it starts where No Time to Bleed probably should have started, right? Whatever that was that that pissed him off about his club and made him say, so long, I'm out of here. It tells that story, and then of course the events in No Time to Bleed immediately follow, and then the events in the next book, Blood Out, follow that. So in Blood Brothers, I'm really glad that I decided to split it out into its own book, even though it also ended up being a short one. And I know that there are some of you out there feeling gypped that it's a short one. Right? You get into it, and I'm glad you enjoy the story, but I understand your frustration when it ends so abruptly. But that's one of the reasons why I'm explaining why that happened, right? I mean, this one's almost as much the product of an accident as No Time to Bleed was. So, anyways, what I really loved about it, though, it gave me the opportunity, splitting it into its own book. It gave me the opportunity to expand the world that he's in, and the characters and the backstory, and this is where I've really kind of mined the story for some really great nuggets, I think, of storytelling, where it's kind of hard to explain, but it's confirmed for me that what I have here and what I'm working on it's actually a story that has some meaning. There's a story arc. There's a reason to tell the story rather than just, some tough guys beat each other up, a few people die, right? So we learn a lot more about Austin's past. We learn a lot more about even before him. The story really starts with his father in Tillman, decades before, back in the 70s, really back in the 60s. You could go further than that. And I've been fascinated how it's written itself, and it just sometimes it surprises the hell out of me, and I go, holy shit, I'm writing this thing, and then God, these things fit together very well. The way that the history of it goes. So I'm having, I'm glad you guys enjoy it, reading it, and the the reviews have borne that out. I really appreciate the reviews, by the way. You guys have been so generous with those, and so gracious, and I love hearing that you guys are enjoying the story. But I am having just a hell of a lot of fun writing it, because I discover these stories right along with you guys. Obviously it's months in advance, but if you if you consider where I'm at in the story and I find these things out is where you found them out, because sometimes they just fucking pop right onto the page, and I'm all, holy shit, really? So, there's stuff that just, I don't know, it just kind of materializes. And, I really got to say, that's one of the funnest things about writing these goddamn books, is that they just, I don't know, it's like mining for treasure, for gold. You'll dig it, you'll be digging along, and then all of a sudden there's a nugget. And I just love that, so. But anyways, with Blood Brothers, I've been able to to set up the backstory that's necessary to make No Time to Bleed actually have some meaning. I mean, it's not, without what I went back and did in Blood Brothers, No Time to Bleed is just an exercise in writing action scenes, right? Because there's not a whole lot to it more than that. I mean, I love it. And you guys have loved it too, but there's really not a lot of depth there. And with Blood Brothers, it does have that depth. And one of the I got to confess, one of the fears I had, and I actually wrote this to a few of my beta readers that pre-read Blood Brothers. I was conscious of, gosh, if people have read my first book and they read Blood Brothers, they might be a little disappointed. There's not as much violence. I mean, there's not as much just wall-to-wall beating the fuck out of each other. Just these guys just, and I like that. But there's a little bit of there's not a whole lot of that in Blood Brothers. So I was, I'm glad that it has more depth and there's more character and you learn about these guys more. But yeah, there's not a lot of fists flying. So I was a little bit, I was a little apprehensive when I put that one out there. But I've been very overwhelmed by the positivity of the feedback for it. So my concerns were unfounded, and you guys have, so far have appreciated it. Now, those of you that read No Time to Bleed first, and then backed into Blood Brothers, the same way I did, by the way, it might, I wish I could, I wish I could tell a difference between somebody that reads Blood Brothers first and then No Time to Bleed, because that's, for somebody that's never heard of me before today or before I released the second book, hopefully that's how they read them. You know, they read Blood Brothers first, and then, you know, because the tension ratchets up, and then you get boom, all this, all this, you know, climax of violence and mayhem and no time to bleed. But I'm very pleased that it has struck a chord with people and people enjoy it. So that is that's Blood Brothers, and we learn a lot about the backstory. We learn about Austin's dad, Wayne Conrad. We learn a lot about him and his relationship with the Rattlers and with Tillman and a few other big characters. God, those big characters have been fun to write. You know, Frosty. I love that guy. We'll see more of him later. We'll probably see more of a few of the other characters too. But you know, they've been really fun to write. There's a bunch of new characters in Blood Out that I'm working on too, and I don't know. Those are, you know, I love those one-dimensional characters. They're easy to write, and they're, you know, they're basically, they follow their script. They write themselves. Oh, let me talk a little bit about Austin's dad, Wayne Conrad. I was talking to my wife about this the other day, and you know, she's taking this ride with me, and I'm glad she's very supportive. Stephanie, I love you. Thank you for you know, being my partner in this, and you know, it would be hard to be to put as much effort as I do into this without her support. But anyways, she and I were talking about this, and as you know, as we do sometimes, we'll be sitting out having a beer on the patio and talking about you know, about these books, and she's a fan of them too, which I'm grateful. But I told her, I said, you know, I told her what I've told you guys, that they kind of just spill out onto the page without a lot of without a lot of forethought. I mean, yeah, I connect the dots, right? You know, he needs to end up over here, so I'll write how he got there and whatnot. And along the way, the story happens, right? You know, it just sort of, it blooms, right? Well, one of the unexpected things, and I didn't even realize this until I started thinking about it after the fact, but Austin's father, Wayne Conrad, he's been dead for 20 years, more than that, I think, probably about 25 years. In this, you know, at the time that I'm telling this story, he's been dead for that long, but he figures so prominently. He's almost the main character on par with Austin, because, and you know, it's like so much of who Austin is and what he does, and so much of the plot, even, and with Tillman too, and the Rattlers themselves. So much of it is influenced by Wayne Conrad, who we never see. All we hear about we hear about him in memories. We hear about him, you know, and people talking about him from the past. He's not some great guy. He's just some, you know, he's a Vietnam vet. You know, he was in the Rattlers. He wasn't even the president. He was just one of the guys. But he was Austin's dad, and I think that's you know, I think that's that's what makes him so important here. And you know, again, I'm the king of the tangents, so sorry if I keep getting off track. But I was talking to my wife about this, and I never intended this. And to my siblings, my brothers, and my sister, I'm sure that you guys will see this. I never intended that this would be autobiographical in any way. It was supposed to be, you know, pure fiction. But, you know, I've come to believe that all fiction is a product of who you are, and who you are is a product of your own nature, your own experiences. Well, I'm not going to say that Wayne Conrad is based on my dad. They're very different. But the way that that Austin's dad, his memory and how he influenced him growing up and whatnot, the way all of that still influences him to this day. I didn't even realize until the other day that I was totally talking about my own dad. And my own dad passed away years ago, way too young also. And, you know, I mean, I hope I don't tear up talking about it, but, you know, I always felt that I was, you know, I wasn't an adult yet when he died, and I missed having an adult relationship with him, and that's always been a burden, but I did, even when I started this video, I didn't think I was going to take it here, but anyways, it's just uncanny the way these things work the way they work themselves into these stories. And I know most of you, other than my siblings, if you guys are watching this, my brothers and my sister, most of you have never met my dad. You don't know who he is. It means nothing to you. But the way that those have come before us and are long gone, the way they can still influence you, the way they still have a presence in your lives, that I had no clue that was going to be a theme in this story, but that ended up being subconsciously. I never intended it, and I didn't even realize it until I was talking with my wife about it the other day, and it hit me on the head, and I'm like, holy shit. So it's not one of those things. It's just, you know, I'm as surprised about it as you guys are, and you know, it almost feels like cheating, because it almost, you know, here I am, I shouldn't be divulging the secret. I should oh yeah, I intended that the whole time, yeah. Hell no, I didn't. No, it just happened. So anyways, I would have never gotten into that depth with Wayne Conrad, with Austin's dad, if I hadn't split Blood Brothers out into its own book and really kind of dug into the backstory. So, I don't know, it's kind of, Wayne Conrad his dad haunts all three books. I mean, we hear about him in No Time to Bleed, you know, where I was just writing filler, you know, what's the guy thinking about when he's riding across the desert, right? Got this filler, right? But there he is, right? Before I even started weaving it together into more of a cohesive thing. So, anyways, God damn, it's been 23 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna put this one to bed. That's Blood Brothers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know a lot of you have already. If you haven't read it yet, I appreciate if you do. Currently, and I say currently because I don't know what's going to change. If you're watching this 5 years from now, it may be something else I'm offering. But currently, Blood Brothers is available for free, just for signing up on my website for my email list. And basically, that means I send you an email once a month and tell you what's going on. So it's non-committal, and you can unsubscribe too if you just want the free book, right? You know, if you just want the free book, email me, shit, I'll just send it to you. I don't give a shit. You know, if you just want to read it, you know, if the $1.99 is you know, if times are tough, I'll send you that for, you know, it's no skin off my neck. So just let me know. But anyways, that's for free for signing up. Don't forget, I have a discussion group, Sharp Readers, on Facebook. You're welcome to join up. It's starting to grow. Still not a whole lot of discussion, but I hope when I have more material to talk about, when Blood Out comes, we'll get some more discussion going on there. And check out my website at dustysharp.com. Okay, thanks guys. I'm sorry I got way more into it than I expected to, but I guess that's the way these things go. So, cheers. Let me get that in the shot. Cheers. I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for watching.